For the first time since returning to the White House, US President Donald Trump has imposed sanctions on Russia, a move signaling his growing frustration with Moscow's refusal to end its war in Ukraine. The announcement came just hours before the European Union approved its 19th sanctions package against Russia, tightening the economic screws further on the Kremlin. In Washington, the US Treasury unveiled sweeping sanctions targeting Russia's two biggest oil companies, Lukoil and Rosneft. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said the measures were a response to President Vladimir Putin's refusal to end this senseless war and his lack of serious commitment to peace talks. He said these actions will degrade the Kremlin's ability to fund its war machine. The sanctions block any US assets held by the firms and prohibit American entities from doing business with them, cutting off a key source of Russian state revenue. Notably, the new measures stop short of targeting Chinese and Indian buyers of Russian oil, though Trump said he plans to raise the issue when he meets China's President Xi Jinping at next week's APEC summit in South Korea. The sanctions also underscore a visible shift in tone from the US president, who has until now kept diplomatic channels open with the Kremlin. Speaking to reporters, Trump said he had cancelled his upcoming meeting with Putin in Hungary, explaining that it just didn't feel right.
But that'll be a big one. We canceled the meeting with President Putin. It didn't feel right to me. It didn't feel like we were going to get to the place we have to get, so I canceled it. But we'll do it in the future. But next week we'll be with many of you in those locations that I told you. Then it's back to Washington.
Trump said he hoped the sanctions would not have to remain in place for long, but admitted his patience with the stalled ceasefire talks was wearing thin.
The question today is a very big day in terms of what we're doing. Look, these are tremendous sanctions. These are very big. Those are against their two big oil companies, and we hope that they won't be on for long. We hope that the war will be settled. We just answered having to do with the various forms of missiles and everything else that we're looking at, but we don't think that's going to be necessary. We would like to see them just take the line that has been formed over quite a long period of time and go and let's go home. Last week they had almost 8,000 soldiers killed. Many Russians were killed last week. Many Ukrainians were killed last week. We think it's ridiculous and would like to have it end.
The sanctions are likely to hit Moscow where it hurts most: energy. Rosneft, Russia's second-largest company and a pillar of its oil exports, has already been struggling. In September, it reported a 68% drop in net income compared with last year. Meanwhile, Lukoil, the country's largest private oil firm, saw profits fall by more than a quarter in 2024, blaming higher taxes imposed to fund Russia's war effort. Across the Atlantic, the European Union also toughened its stance, approving its 19th sanctions package against Moscow. The new measures include a ban on Russian liquefied natural gas imports, with short-term contracts to end within 6 months, and long-term deals by 2027. The package also adds travel bans on Russian diplomats and blacklists another 117 vessels from Moscow's so-called shadow fleet, ships accused of evading sanctions. Banks in Kazakhstan and Belarus were also named in the latest round. The agreement came after Slovakia dropped its objections, following guarantees on energy pricing and industry protections. Russia has yet to issue a public response to Washington's latest measures. With Washington and Brussels now aligned in their toughest action in months, the pressure on Moscow is mounting. But as winter approaches, and the war drags into its 4th year, the question remains: will sanctions alone be enough to push Russia back to the negotiating table?